Hi. Well, let me just first go through the updates. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. That email I sent about calendar change had to do with the fact that you were supposed to be off next last week for Thanksgiving, so deadlines were extended accordingly. But let me go over the week 6 schedule, which is basically chapter 7, which is a really good chapter on emotions. Some of the things that are talked about in that chapter, one is emotional. The contagious nature of emotions, how they're contagious, how you can sort of catch that emotional feeling. Like if someone tells you a sad story or something that is uplifting, we actually sort of catch on to that emotion and feel it too. You can see it if at my house, if I'm watching a funny movie, someone will walk by and say, "What are you smiling about?" What I'm watching the movie and I'm caught up in the emotion, and my daughter's the same way. So maybe you can relate to that feeling of being brought into the emotion of a situation. Emotions infect, and the emotions, according to the chapter, we look at many times in our culture positives and negatives. Like it's either good or it's bad, or it's beneficial or not beneficial. One thing also we look at is how strong emotions are. You know, if they're good or bad, or if they have those kinds of tones to them. But then also, how strong are they? How strong are those emotions? Because emotions can affect your health. And then there's also a situation called meta emotion, which is emotions about emotions. Maybe you think about a time that you were sad, or you think about a time you were happy, and just the thought of the emotion brings it all back. There's some research I've read that thinking about really sad things can actually bring that same physical feeling back again. So health experts will sometimes say, don't dwell there too long, thinking about negative or things that are so sad that it brings you real down. So understanding emotions, though, is really important for communication. Maybe you can relate to a time that you dealt with or worked with or talked to someone who really had a hard time with emotions. They couldn't show emotion, they couldn't react to emotion, and it really leaves you sort of feeling like they didn't get what you were saying. So it leaves the communication short, because you don't really think that unless that emotional level is matched or received by the individual, you kind of feel like they didn't understand the message you were sending at times. So it is important to understand the just the whole function of emotions and communication. So please do read the PowerPoint chapter carefully. The assignments this week are week 6 reading, reflection, and discussion, where you're going to evaluate the theories of emotion presented in the chapter and explain what you see the strengths and weaknesses of each, and then respond to 2 course mates. Your reflection, you're going to choose a case study. I'm going to type one and put it up by this evening for those of you who don't have the text. And you're going to talk about how it relates to this week's reading. You can also bring it into your observations, your field work that you're doing, if there's something that kind of intersects with that, that you can relate it to, or you can just talk about what you've learned from it, and kind of reflect on some of the concepts of communication we've learned thus far and bring those into it. So that should all be done by Monday or so of next week. As you can see, I'm not going to be completely strict on the deadlines for this work. As long as you pace yourself and keep up, within a day or two there is grace, because that's how life is, and I want you to get through successfully and be able to work on this during the week as you can. So if you have any questions for me, as always, I'm here to speak to you. Please feel free to email me, to call me at my office. If there's anyone who's getting behind and you feel like you need a little extra coaching, do if you need to email me and set up a time that we can talk over the phone, I'm happy to do that. I'm here in my office too, that in the main campus, that I can meet with you in person if needed to. So God bless. Have a good week. Remember to be working on that final project. All the information is on Blackboard about that. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks.